Hey there. Thought I'd take advantage of it being lunchtime here on Friday to have a little quiet in the place and be able to give you a bit of a tour of some of the shots that you're going to see in the blog update pictures and the explanation, but I'll give you a bit of a walking tour. We'll start down here on the bottom. As you can see behind me here, we've got the prop shaft tube all mounted in, and they've got the plating on the keel all closed in now, so we can take a bit closer look at that and show you what's going on. I'll just change over and flip the camera around so I can show you the different places. Above me here you can see this is the hole for the rudder post. That's what's going to go in there, and you can see now here how the prop tunnel is starting to form itself if you look along the back there. And then this of course is the trailing edge of the skeg for the prop shaft that comes out that nice big hole right there. And I'll show you around a little bit more and give you a bit more explanation. Then we'll go upstairs and have a look at what things are developing in the pilot house. All right, so with the camera flipped around the other way here, we can show you a little more details on the tunnel and how that all works in the skeg. So if I look straight down for you, move the camera anyways for that, you can get a bit of a better sense of just how that tunnel forms itself. And we'll go have a look at that transition up further forward there, which has been very, very tricky to form. Right now we can take a look at, you can see how the skeg has gotten all closed in since last week when you were last seeing it. We've got this nice big thick tube that's welded in here. Inside of this will go another tube that holds the controllable pitch propeller shaft inside of it. So there's a tube within a tube. It gets epoxied in there once we get everything all lined up and so on. You can see also that we've got this really nice big thick 2-inch 50 millimeter thick aluminum shoe on the bottom here. That'll be the kind of like a grounding plate if you want to think so. This is the lowest surface on the boat, so this is what would hit first most likely. If we had any poundings or contacts with the bottom, never if, it's just a matter of when that occurs, so we want that good and solid. And this gives us a bit of protection for things that might want to come up against the prop. So the prop will sit, of course, out a little bit further here so it clears this, but this will give us a little bit of a protection and also help to protect from where the rudder comes down from that post right there. That'll be another big pipe that gets welded in here, and then the shaft from the rudder comes up in through that and gives us a really, really big spade rudder, very well protected and very, very strong. You can get a bit of a sense here. This is 25 millimeter thick aluminum. This is all part of the keel. So this plate here, this 25 millimeter thick plate runs from stem to stern quite literally, completely uninterrupted. This is where, of course, it drops down to form this skeg that you can see here. And then you can also see that we've got this very nice thick 12 millimeter half-inch thick aluminum plate to go around and wrap itself to make this entire skeg section unbelievably strong, basically a tank. This was welded in, or cut in here with the CNC cut. You might remember from last week how these were the vertical frames for the skeg, and that will all get cut off now that everything's in place. We want that in there so that we're absolutely sure that this tube for the prop shaft stayed dead true to its location. That had been all worked out, and then, as I say, once these are all welded up, this will get ground off and made smooth. Below the water line's the only place we paint for the anti-fouling paint, and so that means we can also use filler down here, whereas everywhere else is all just raw aluminum, so you don't get the benefit of having any filler in there. But we can really do a good job of smoothing this over, partly for water flow, partly for making it easier to clean. And you can see we've been showing you this from the very beginning, this slot welding idea that enables us, the welders, to get in and weld up this plate to the flat bar, or in this case, this 25 millimeter thick framing that is there. And then you can start to see now, if I show you, maybe I'll come back and give you kind of a moving tour. You can just start to see how this gorgeous transition, very complex shape transition happens here with the plates that form the bottom of the hub for the tunnel up here. But you can see how this curve has to make the transition as it moves forward here. And I take you to the front edge of the skeg, and then you can see this transition plate starts to make the curve back into the curve of the overall of the hull, that I can show you a little bit like that. Okay, so we're obviously up on top now. I'm standing on the starboard aft corner of the aft deck, and behind me here you can see that we've got this cantilevered roof that's going to give us really nice protection from sun and rain. We'll go take a bit closer look at that, and then you can see in front of that where the pilot house starts, and I'll take you on a bit of tour of that now. So this is the cantilevered roof that we've been talking to you a bit about. You've seen that starting to get framed up and formed over the last couple of weeks, and it's all in place. These vertical posts here are just temporary to make sure everything stays lined up. You can see it's just tack welded in place right now. They'll get around to finishing up the welding once all of the components, there's some cross members to still go in there and sturdy that up a little bit. But you can see it's going to give us a very nice bit of protection, frankly mostly from the sun, but even when it's inclement weather and raining a little bit, you can be out here on the aft deck and be weather well protected. Even better protection, perhaps, at least for the area, for about 1.5 meters or so, about 4 feet, a little bit better, coming out of the door. So this is the only door, really, in and out of the boat. This will be, of course, a nice watertight door, some glass in it, all aluminum, with some great catches on it to keep it nice and tight when necessary. We'll probably have it open most of the time, and you can see how we've designed this whole corner over here on both sides to be very well protected. This area that you see right in here, that's going to be all glass. So the 360 degrees of glass that you will see all throughout the pilot house here keep on going back, even when the pilot house itself finishes here at that door frame. We'll keep the glass coming all the way out here, so that this whole corner that you're looking at over here outside that door when you're coming and going will be very, very nicely protected with both the roof over top and this nice protected area on this side. And then if I move you around, walk over to the other side here and move you around, you can see it's duplicated on the other side here so that you can be standing back there. This one's important to be protected because this is where the staircase will go up. You can go back and look at the renderings that I did, but there's a circular staircase here that goes up to this entrance, up to the flybridge, and I'll take you up there in a moment and show you around. In fact, let's go do that right now. All right, so we're standing up in the sky bridge right now, basically on top of the roof of the pilot house. You can see looking forward here that we can see a very nice sight lines right up to the bow, so we can have a very good set of visibility. I'm standing at the very, very aft edge of the sky bridge where you come up the stairs there that I showed you earlier. So even from way back here, you can see we've got great sight lines both down the side of the boat as well as all the way up past the bow. This area up in here, we're just going to leave this open. It'll be an area for sitting, eating. We'll have some loose furniture up here, tables, chairs, that kind of stuff, but probably just sort of patio type furniture, nice stuff that's good for outdoors. And what our thought is that Christine and I will just try the boat out with different arrangements. Where do we sit? Where do we like to eat? That kind of thing. Maybe we'll leave it loose. Maybe we'll find we always like sitting and eating in similar spots, and we can start to build furniture in later on after the boat's all done. But to begin with, this will be, of course, all non-skid material on the floor, so it's nice and safe. There's a glass. If you go look at the model, you'll see that there's a glass edge, probably around, I think, 25, maybe 30 centimeters, about a foot, that goes all the way around there, so there'll be a little bit more protection. And then there'll be a roof, a bimini type roof with solar panels on top of this, and for windows we'll have them, but there will be thin acrylic sheets that are able to be lowered down but can be folded up out of the way when we'd rather just have this be all open air. And then back here, if I step around this blower, we're doing lots of welding downstairs, so they've got this big blower here to get some fresh air in there for the boys. And this will be the Skybridge helm station. So there'll be a nice helm chair in there, and then lots of space up here for mounting some instruments. We're going to probably make a portable helm station, both up and down, so you could move it around. But this will be a nice, comfortable, very safe area if there's a lot of boat motion, for example, or just really comfortable. And then the aft wall of the Skybridge here will go across a little bit, and I think this area is going to be a very popular one. We'll probably make up a nice upholstered cushion that will cover this whole area and can be a nice area to just sit and enjoy, maybe lay down, have a nap, something like that, and maybe have a typical marine folding chair that you could sit there, and so you could have two people here. Obviously, two people can fit in this one a little bit tightly, but we'll just see how that kind of things works out. But the plan right now is to put a single helm chair. You can see the opening for the circular staircase with making lots of room here for your head to come up as you come up the stairs, and then you'll enter the fly bridge over here. And on the aft, this is all covered with solar panels, which was one of the major reasons for putting that in. And then if I show you now standing up here in the helm station, I've got the camera held at eye level, so you can see that even when you're up this high and when you're way back in the sky bridge at the helm station, you've got great sight lines out over to the past the bow and see the anchor. And if we were docking and you were steering the boat from up here, you've got very good side vision. I'm just moving the camera now to what you'd see if you looked over the side standing in the sky bridge, so you can just see the other outer edge. It's going to go out a little bit further. There's rub rails there, so that will go a little bit wider, and you could see the dock and be very safe and very good visibility for doing any kind of docking. And then, of course, if you move all the way up here, this is again solar panels in here, 3 large solar panels, and they're the ones that are on that pivoting or hinged frame. So we'll put that frame of sun panels down so it's sealed tight against the front when we're underway and we don't get water underneath of it. And then when we anchor, we'll lift those solar panels rack up. It's going to be on a hinge that runs across this coaming set here. And what that does is forms this fabulous tunnel to catch all the breeze coming over the bow. Remember, we're at anchor all the time, so the breeze is always over the bow. The boats just move around to line up with the wind. So we know the wind is always coming over the bow, and this will be a great tunnel when there's this kind of roof over top of this that opens up to a nice big giant opening and captures all of that fresh air. And then if I bring you around here and show you what's back on this end of it, you can see that that's going to be a big, huge vent area there. It gets covered in what's called a demister grill, which is just a very specialized grill system that extracts all of the moisture, both humidity and any water that might get up this far out before it goes down. I'm standing at what will be the main helm station that we showed you a bit earlier, right here, and giving you a view. I've got the camera held at eye level, my eye level anyways, and this will give you an idea of what you see looking forward. So great visibility of the bow, the anchor system, that whole area up in the front there. You can see I was referring to other vents. This will be a nice high pressure zone in here. When the breeze comes over and hits these negatively raked windows, we'll get a nice big high pressure zone in here, and so we're going to take advantage of that by getting the air up in this plenum up in here, and then bring it down through some large, about a 1-foot diameter pipes that are going to come down and bring lots of beautiful fresh air into this front helm area. And then that spot I told you about up on the sky bridge that the vent goes through, you can see it up here. So this is where all the fresh air comes in from that upper area underneath the solar panels, comes down. We'll close this bottom in here, and then there'll be large, about 6-inch diameter pipes, maybe 4, 5, 6 of them, spread across the ceiling in this area to bring all that great fresh air into the salon and make sure that we've got tons of fresh air and a nice flow in here. And then to assist that, in the back corner of here and over here above the galley on this side and above the staircase will be active vents, fans basically, that will be housed in those storage areas outside the back there, and they can be turned on if we really needed to extract air out of here at any given time. Okay, let's finish up today's tour by taking a walk up the side starboard deck here. This is all glass along the left-hand side of you as you walk along here. There'll be a handrail up on top of this roof section you see over on the left there, pipe handrail, and then of course stanchions and lifelines on the right-hand side. So it'll be nice and safe, and then all glass, about inch-thick glass in total, that goes into these window frames here as we go all the way around the pilot house. And then up here in the front bow area for anchor handling mostly, you can see it's recessed in. We've got this big giant hatch to give us access down into the forepeak that we'll take a quick look at here. And that'll have a flooring in it for storage. The bow thruster will be in there, gray water tanks, black water tanks, pumps, that kind of stuff. There's the Samson post and where the anchor stem comes up into. And then the foredeck area here is nice and big, even though it's all full of aluminum right now. And then a quick view, you can get a sense of the transparency and the great views out of this pilot house. This is that area with the solar panels up on top of it that are on a rack that hinge to give us lots of fresh air being pulled into that demister grill in the back there. And then these are the other grills I was showing you on the underside of the roof overhang in front of the windscreen in front of the pilot house. And then you can get a quick sense of what it looks like up on top here, a bit of the space, and then we can have a quick peek if we lift the camera up here into the sky bridge area that we had a look at a bit earlier. And again, the solar panels that are going to go on there, either hinged open or hinged closed for on passage. And that's what she looks like. So hope that gives you a bit of a sense of what the boat's looking like at this stage. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.